Okay, so this is this is a video of Dustin Johnson. I'm doing this for a few juniors that wanted to have some questions answered. So, as you can see with Dustin Johnson, we have this camera is probably around at his waistline or just below it, just above his knee. So we're going to see a little different angles going back. But a couple things that Dustin does is, he has long arms. Everything looks pretty orthodox with his setup position, and the things that he does that are very orthodox, just along with the body movement, we're going to talk about first, and then I'll go into the arms. Is that he's a long hitter, and most long hitters have pretty big hip turn, pretty big shoulder turn, and you can see here we're just going to go from ankles, knees, hips, that they've rotated quite a bit, and you'll see with the arms that they actually have to. The hips have to rotate. If you were to not rotate your hips as a long hitter, the chance of you hitting athletically are at zero. So now, in order to have stability and to be athletic, you have to have some straightening of the right leg on the backswing. You can see that's occurring here. So he's moved his hips, he's moved his knees, and he's straightened his right leg. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that his shoulders are fairly steep. I mean, they're very steep, and you can't see it as much with the left arm. Kind of gets in the way of it with this view, but he has pretty steep shoulders. And what you'll see on the downswing, that he reflexes his knees, he moves closer to the ball slightly, and you can see that he is unwinding as a product of what his face does. So a lot of good players do that have his face alignment. So we're going to go into that next. Okay, so into the backswing. Now he does some stuff that's not orthodox by any standard. He's obviously a great player, and great players get things done even if it's not fundamental, or a common fundamental, you might want to call it. So he goes back, and you can see he has a very strong grip, and strong grip players tend to have shut faces, and excuse me, not strong grip, but he gets a bowed palmar flexed left wrist. So we go up here at the top, and you can see that that's palmar flexed. So that face is basically facing the sky. So a lot of players that did this would be like a Paul Azinger would be one, David Duvall is another one. So a lot of those players play a fade, and now it's a closed face with a fade. The reason for that is they know that they can't hit this ball left, so you can see the length of his backswing. It's just basically a product of his arms getting away from him on the backswing. So as he comes down, his arms in a few degrees, and he's unwinding, opening as much as he can to keep the ball from going left. Okay. And you can see his exit's fairly low, just kind of underneath his, probably about midway through. Slightly above. This is a driver, so his shorter irons might be even lower, and that's why he gets this finish that's kind of way around. Okay. Now, there's been some things said that I'm going to disagree on about Dustin. Now, Dustin takes his arms back, and he's trying to shorten his swing. So people say, in order for you to get your arm swing the shortest, is to swing your arms in a straight line longer. Now, that might be true to a point. However, if you were to try to do that and turn your shoulders to what might be said and stop right there, yeah, sure, that'd be fine. The problem with that is his shoulders there only turned maybe 80 degrees. So if you're a high handicapper, that's probably where you're at. So the chance of him hitting a ball from there is not going to happen, at least for him to hit it far. So what he does is then he has to straighten out his right leg and lengthen his swing to get any turn, okay, to get his shoulders back, beyond 90 degrees. So just to that's kind of my opinion on the situation. So if we look at the exact opposite, let's say in Aaron Baddeley, who was also a very long hitter, still is. He had the shortest arm swing, but he took his arm path more in. Okay. You can see how he also straightened his right leg, turned his hips, still had shoulder tilt, but he took his arms more inside. So the question still remains, is taking your arms down the line the fastest and easiest way to shorten your golf swing? Probably not. So most of these players, this is off YouTube, so we'll see this. This is the backswing. Turn their hips, straighten the rear leg, and still able to get a shoulder turn that's pretty deep and keep his arm swing short. Okay? So hopefully that answers your questions. We had a couple questions actually yesterday on the range about Dustin Johnson and shortening his swing. So that's my interpretation of it. Doesn't mean it's right, but hopefully this answers my thoughts.